Hi guys, welcome back to my video on my channel, Ben Lester Photography. Today I have a good few photos to show you, and I want to talk about perspective and how we take our shots. Now recently I went to Lady Barra Reservoir and I took my drone, I took my gimbal and my M50, this little one here, and I took my EOS R, and I was laden with stuff and all ready to go to this spot that I'd seen on a book in this Peak District photography book. Now, obviously, everybody else had the same idea. There was tons of photographers, so many photographers actually, that I've actually never seen that many photographers before, ever. Yeah, I think everybody was a photographer or a videographer. I wasn't the only one with a gimbal, which surprised me. And there was loads of people with tripods and setting up at these local spots. So I went past and I actually got a little bit lost and came back to a parking spot at the end, not near to the plug. But thankfully this helped because I saw somebody leaving a spot who was on his own, and he had his own little composition and perspective of Lady Barra Reservoir. So this is really nice actually. It's quite refreshing because when you look at all these photos at these iconic spots, you see the iconic photo, and you kind of get a little bit lost of what else to take. But seeing other people leaving other spots to photo or to photograph is quite a nice thing, because you see their point of view for a brief moment and think about it. And this one was actually quite nice for me, basically, because I saw him leave and was like, ooh, I could use that as well. And it might not have been the same photo, and it might have been, but it was an idea that had grown in my head. And I found this spot where there was a nice line of boats going up towards Lady Barra Bridge, and there was a little hill in the background. Now the light was gorgeous, and the water and the clouds and everything like that really blended well together. So I've got this photo here for you guys just as a little sneak peek. Now after that one, I'm heading to the iconic spot. So I'm seeing quite a lot of people with their cameras heading to this spot, and I'm looking around and kind of like worried a little bit of am I going to be able to fit in the location to be able to get the right spot. Now, this is where the perspective kind of comes into it. I had been looking at some photos on Google by some famous landscape photographers in the area, and I'd seen that they'd taken some photos at a different perspective to what everybody else was taking. So when you come towards Lady Barra Reservoir, there's an entrance, there's the first plug hole straight away, and there was a little kind of like circle, cubby hole for people, photographers or viewers, people just wanting to look into this plug hole. And don't get me wrong, it's lovely, it's great. It's great that they've got the idea for people to actually have their own spot, but it's like about not even a foot wide and long, and you've got all these people crammed in there. So I've completely walked past and was like, right, let's try and get this spot that I'd seen on Google. And I'll show you here. And as you can see, there is a plug hole, and you've got the kind of tower, the power tower for the reservoir, and then basically Bamford Edge in the background. And it's actually a lovely composition. You've kind of got a three-tiered photo. And it's only one shot, so this is where I'll talk about the perspective part of it. So as I'm walking down, there's these lovely power towers, obviously, and there is the far end where the plug hole is, and I can see 2 photographers, and I was like, yes, not many photographers, thank God there is space for me, little old me, to fit in there with my little tripod and my EOS R. Yeah, so I was quite happy. But I got there and I was really struggling for compositions. Now, I'll show you a few portrait shots. Now, these are really tight, like super tight. This is on a 16mm full frame lens. I'm thinking I don't have any other lenses to be able to fit in there. So I trying to stitch stuff together, and then when I put it together, it's actually landscape at the end of the day. So it didn't really help with how I was composing. Also, it's kind of like attached to the wall, so you have to separate it with a little bit of masking and lighting, and it was just a bit of a pain. I managed to get a photo which was a lot tighter, and this perspective really helped with my composition, and it actually got featured on Visit Peak District Instagram and Facebook. So go and give them a like on there, and you'll see my photo up there. It's got about 2,500 likes, which is like the most likes I've had. So great. But yeah, that was the first photo of the day. It was a nice long exposure. I had a graduated filter by Case on there, and I didn't do too much with that. Colour-wise, I did saturate the colours a little bit, the oranges and blues, but I really liked it. I mean, I was really talking to the people, to photographers there, and saying, how are you getting this in shot? And they were like, oh, just doing a landscape one. And I like my Instagram photos to be, portraits sometimes, sometimes landscape. So I grabbed another shot, which was a landscape shot. But as you can see, the corner and the bottom right is dark, just to kind of separate the wall from the situation. So I've got them 2 shots. They're a normal kind of perspective. I've got a tight one which clears out all the mess and there was quite a few twigs and a lot of wall in the photo. So I got rid of all the negative space and cropped straight in so I could have a nice portrait shot, and that one is the one that got featured. Now, if you have any other camera devices like your phone, a drone, a GoPro, anything that you could use, it really helps to add that different feel to a photo. Now, I had my drone with me, and thankfully I had it because these photos I wasn't really happy with when I was coming away a little bit glum. But I managed to get these amazing shots. Now this first shot is very simply the plug hole, and I really tried to compose it with this kind of curved bottom, and it's actually quite a nice photo. I quite like the colours in the blues, and I'll use that them settings again in some blue photos. So I'm kind of liking my blues at the moment. So that was a really lovely photo, and this is on a little Mavic Air. And all I had to do was change up the perspective, and I think for me personally is one of my favourite photos. And I think that if you can use your devices, your camera devices in different angles, just change up the angle instead of just setting up shooting straight. Try and get a higher up angle or a lower angle. All these things benefit to your photography and probably make it more than the editing afterwards. So I've got my drone, I've got that photo, and I've got another photo which is the tower house, and these two photos lend quite well as a little collection. So if you guys are interested in any of my prints, I've got a little link below, which is an Etsy page, which I'll be uploading all my new stuff very recently. So if you like anything there, I do A3, A4, I do some coasters as well if you like coasters. And yes, I've been doing quite a lot of printing recently. So take a look, and if you fancy one, then they're in the link below. So yeah, I've got all them photos and I'm really happy, and I come away a happy photographer. And this kind of lends itself to with the fact that if you are taking photos, even if the sky's quite clear, even if there's no interest at all in your standard photo, change it up, change the perspective, because these sorts of things really help your photography and put it up to that next level, really. But yeah, that's it for today. I really hope you liked the video. If you did like it, please like and subscribe and all that. I will be uploading hopefully in the next week or so again, with something, hopefully Peak District, or hopefully Lake District, but we'll see where I get to. I always wing it. So anyway, I'll see you in the next one.